Welcome to Spotlight Sessions, where we shine
What's
a light
your
on
story?
incredible. What does accessibility mean to you?
What's your mission? Welcome all to accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a light on incredible individuals and organizations and the work that they do. I'm your host, Josh Basil, the C4-5 quadriplegic, paralyzed below my shoulders, and a power wheelchair user. I'm the Community Relations Manager at accessiBe and a passionate disability rights advocate and trial attorney focused on breaking down barriers to access and inclusion for people with disabilities. Today on accessiBe Spotlight Sessions, we are joined by Jesi Stracham, the founder of Wheel With Me. Welcome, Jesi.
Hey Josh, so glad to be here.
I'm excited to have you on. You are amazing, incredible story, and let's dive right into it. So tell us a little bit more about yourself.
So in January of 2015, I was a passenger on a motorcycle that collided with a car, and the driver didn't stop in time, and he went through, broke his leg. I went over, broke my back in 2 places, chest collapsed, ribs punctured the lungs, nicked the spinal cord, have a traumatic brain injury, and coded twice and had to be resuscitated. Just feeling lucky to be on these wheels.
But you're doing amazing work, and you've had quite a journey. So tell us what kind of motivated you to found Wheel With Me, and tell us a little bit about the great work that you're doing.
So when I first got paralyzed, my first wheel friend, his name was Chris. We were in inpatient rehabilitation together, and I got discharged to live life, and he got discharged to a nursing home. And I found this massive disconnect for people where they weren't given tools and resources to achieve independence after this injury. It was kind of like, here's your wheelchair, good luck, you're sent out into the world. And so we really wanted to provide the community with a resource that says, hey, you don't just have to exist, you can actually live life to the fullest.
I love that so much, and it's making such an impact, especially when families kind of had their lives flipped upside down. A lot of them literally, and it's like, how do you, once you hit the reset button, or just trying to figure out how to be a part of this world with new wheels and new abilities, and it's not easy, but together we're definitely stronger.
Oh, 100%. I feel like it takes the community to make you realize what you're capable of. Just like with me, I launched Wheel With Me Fitness, our fitness app, and it's a fitness app completely for wheelchair users. There's nothing else like it currently on the market, and I really can't wait for more to come out because I think that we are an underserved community, and in a lot of ways. And there's another guy out there. His name is Brandon. He started iAccess Life, which is like the Yelp of accessibility, and he made me realize that it actually is possible to create an app and provide a resource for our community. It's just a lot of work.
You put the time in, the energy, the love, the passion, great things happen, and you're a testament to that. And with Wheel With Me, tell me, I'd love to hear some memorable moments or stories that kind of had a lasting impact on you.
My favorite thing that we do at Wheel With Me Foundation are our empowerment weeks. So every quarter we have a week-long event where every evening a member of the wheelchair using community or somebody with skills within the community shares that with other wheelchair users, all via Zoom. It's completely free, 6 p.m. Eastern for a week straight every quarter. And it's really impactful, and it's been amazing to see people a year later, now that we've been doing them for, this is our 2nd year. And so now that we've been doing them for 2-3 years, oh gosh, we're going to our 3rd year. And like they come back and they're like, oh, I grew so much, or I learned so much, or this person taught me this. That's really impactful because we're teaching people how to be independent and what else is available to them. And with that, we also have a summer camp, and the summer camp's really cool. Last year was our first one. It was at the AEOC up in Maine. It's this completely accessible area. It's unbelievable. And it was really, really cool to have them open the doors for us to share a space and just come together and relate.
The whole Empowerment Week, it was such an honor to be invited to be a speaker last week, or this week. I mean, the group was so amazing. The conversations, I love what you're doing, Jesi, and I'm just so proud to know you.
I'm so grateful. I was thinking about the other day that we met both lobbying in DC for the Trauma Centers Association of America. And it's like, it was literally 2 weeks before the whole country shut down. And we're in DC lobbying why this crazy virus is going around.
That was the last big event like outside my home that was with you, and it was fun wheeling through the halls of Congress and let our voices and wheels be heard. That was quite an experience.
I agree. It was, I think that more members of the community need to see that side of things. They see that, hey, your voice actually does matter. What you have to say does matter. And when you give people your experience and remove the victimhood from it, I think it allows more growth and development. When we start blaming people and calling them names and creating using divisive words, essentially, that's when people don't want to hear what we have to say, don't want to help us. And so if we want to make change, just be authentic, be real, be honest, and be the victor of what's going on. Be like, hey, this is why it doesn't work. This is why you need a disabled person saying, this is what should happen.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word accessibility?
Inaccessibility. When I think of accessibility, I think of the inaccessibility in the world, and that it's overcomplicated. Accessibility is really overcomplicated. I'm a firm believer that if we implemented universal design on new builds from today forward, within 100, 150 years, we would have greater accessibility than we currently do. And it wouldn't be as much of a challenge and as much as a fight. But they're still creating these new buildings without consulting with people with disabilities. On every accessibility board, every ADA board, there should be a member with disabilities as well, right? In a perfect world, like, ask the people that use it. Why are you trying to create something off of what works for you when you don't know our experience? Perspective is relative, and I think that's really missed across the board when we're speaking on people with disabilities and accessibility and living in the real world.
Thank you for saying that and sharing that. And what's one thing about the spinal cord community you wish the world knew more about?
Walking's not our biggest problem. I wish that people understood that walking is the least of my worries. I would much rather have full bowel and bladder control back over walking any day, any day. And if walking was my biggest problem, this life would be a heck of a lot easier than what it currently is.
And I'm in the same way. Like people are like, do you want to walk again? I'm like, no, I just want to regain my hands again. Like literally, there's probably like 7 things before walking that I would take within like at least my paralysis journey, and but it's the true testament of even having a body that might not work the same way that it did before, having a strong mind, having purpose, having the ability to know that you're a part of this world and you wanna experience it and live it and love it and share memories with others. It's just there's so much beauty as long as you are willing to get out there and try and to be a part of the world, which I think you again are a testament to that.
I think the biggest issue is people operate in fear. And when you operate in fear, you don't get to live because you're so worried about what could happen, what might happen. And after my injury, I realized that I could worry about what could happen, or I could just go out, and if it happens, I roll over that bridge when it comes. And that's what's freed me. And then getting closer with my faith and creating purpose in my life, having a reason to exist as far as like serving others. When we created Wheel With Me Fitness, it started as a support group just because I wanted to give some people a common place to go and support one another. And that's what we need to do as humans, is just be there for one another rather than trying to clash and put each other down. We should lift each other up. I think that's something missed among the community itself. Like, if I could give the spinal cord injury community one piece of advice, you're not in competition on social media. We're a small population, and we've really got to start being there for one another instead of putting each other down.
Together we're stronger.
Yes.
It's the bottom line.
Yeah.
A divisive community, different. Everybody, if we, and that's one of the things that the disability community has actually struggled with over the years on Capitol Hill and lobbying. It's like, yes, we did an incredible job coming together to get the ADA passed, but since then, there's so many different types of disability groups, each one's fighting for their own unique things to impact their lives, which is great. But the second that we're all separated out, our numbers we don't have power in numbers. So like the blind community, the wheelchair using community, people with intellectual developmental disabilities, ID, there's so many different types of abilities and disabilities, and over time they've all been kind of advocating for themselves and that as a united front, and it's actually made us weaker.
Yeah.
And I want to like get back to like that more united front with what you were saying.
I think that we're just in a place where social media allows people to think that they automatically have to be right, and what they say is right. And it's like, yeah, your voice is important, but this is why we should do this together and fight for similar things, such as universal design and things like that. And it's wild because everybody has an opinion. You know, I made a post about getting off of disability and how powerful it was. For the first time in my entire life, I don't have to check my bank account before using my debit card. And that is the most freeing feeling. And it's, you know, Josh, you helped me navigate the whole thing of going back to work full time, getting off of disability, and really being able to have a limitless income. And I have more benefits now than I did when I didn't work, which is also wild to me. I have full Medicaid. Didn't even qualify for full Medicaid when I was on disability, and now I do. So now I don't even have to, I'm saving money because I don't have to pay for my medical bills anymore.
Just hearing that from you just means the world to me, because like the truth is that the spinal cord community is filled with so many beautiful people, and sometimes the system or the lack of information kind of is holding people back. And the second that we come together, we unite, where we don't have to be alone in this journey, and we learn from each other, and we learn all of the other things that can support us. We start to unleash ourselves in the world, and you've been unleashing yourself from the beginning, regardless of the fact. But I'm excited to be a part of your journey and maybe have an impact to unleash you even more, which makes me so happy.
You definitely did. I mean, I was talking about it with somebody yesterday, and they're like, I never talked to a social worker. I never had anyone when I got hurt. And I was like, I didn't either. I didn't have any of this information. And then the person says, well, I talked to a financial planner and he gave me suggestions for accounts, but he never mentioned this ABLE account. I said, I didn't know about it either. You got to talk to Josh, like, because you opened my eyes to how much is actually available to us and all of the ways that the system's actually set up for us to succeed if we use it properly.
And it's so true. So true. And within like kind of the business world, what do you think are some of the biggest current gaps that should be prioritized around access and inclusion?
I think that in any industry, in employment in general, all employers should give people with disabilities a chance. There's obviously different levels of disability, and there's different situations where things might come up. But the place that I'm currently working, I interviewed at a place before there and then this office, and not having any experience doing what I do in the wheelchair. I had all the experience from before I used the wheelchair, and I had a 7-year employment gap. And this office took the risk on me. And within 6 months, I was the manager I managed the clinic. I run the clinic. I have 5 employees now that I completely manage. And I do it all from the chair, and I command authority. And I think it comes back to the person with the disability. You have to command authority from people because they already have a perception of who you are and what you're capable of. And if you don't just command that authority in your presence and say, hey, actually, I'm really capable, give me a chance, they're not going to respect you for that. And they're going to only stick to their perspective. And people might stick to their perspective regardless of what you're capable of. Like, I know when there was a doctor that came in, and they're like, can she do the assisting stuff? Is she capable? And the office manager said, just watch. And it's amazing because I run that place, and I really didn't think I'd be able to do that. And so I think we sell ourselves short, and that reflects when we have interviews, when we're in this space. But also these corporations need to give us a chance and remove their bias. You don't place what you think my capabilities are on me until you see what I'm capable of.
Well, and that's one of the things. It's like for too long, people with disabilities have not had a fair shake at it, and there's more unemployment or underemployment within the disability population than any other population in the country. And the lack of those success stories kind of has added to the narrative. But as we get more and more people employed, having a chance to dance and show their skills and talents, and then the community just finds that true value that they have, because the people with disabilities are natural problem solvers. Their brains think differently. They can attack problems. They're awesome at what they do. And to put that into a workplace and a work setting along colleagues, it not only brings work product up because of that individual, but also through the employees. And it's an amazing thing that happens. And I'm going to say it for like the fifth time already, testament to the fact of what, like, your office probably can't imagine you not being there. Like, what would we do without Jesi?
Literally, I'm softly preparing them for me leaving, because my book's coming out later this year and we're planning the book tour. And so I am going to be transitioning out, and literally the doctor already is panicking. He's like, we got to start telling patients, oh my gosh, what are they going to do? Because there's a lot of patients that are Jesi only. And it's a really good feeling. It's a really good feeling to feel needed, feel desired. And with that, I want to say, like, it hasn't been easy. I work 45 hours a week. So I have to schedule massages and make sure my body's taken care of. I think that self-care is the number one thing when you're going to put your body through a full-time schedule, because you're not a non-disabled person. You have issues, and it's the truth. I have absolutely pooped myself at work. I've peed myself at work. And what I do is I keep supplies in the bathroom. I have a change of clothes in the bathroom. My calves are there, wipes, gloves, extra pull-ups. Like, I set myself up for success. And as a person with a disability, you have to set yourself up for if and when your disability happens. And that's where people fail and falter, because they don't set themselves up for the what if. And so then when it does happen, they have a meltdown and they just can't handle it. Whereas if you're kind of set up, it's like, all right, let me handle this and get back to it. And that's how I've been able to do it.
Well, the fact is you're doing it, and you're doing it well. And Jesi, thank you so much for being our guest today on accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions. You're amazing.
I really appreciate you having me, Josh. And, if any of you guys gain value from today's spotlight session, please share it directly with a friend who can also gain value from it. You can find my organizations at Wheel With Me. It's Wheel With Me Fitness and Wheel With Me Foundation. You can find me at Jesi Stracham, and that's on all platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. The websites, all are the names. And Josh, thank you again. Thank you for everything you're doing for us.
Absolutely. Thank you. And for everybody, thank you for staying to the end. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, take care, everyone.